everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Musings with Mayuri. Welcome to this series Ask and Ace because every doubt matters. So today's question is I keep getting this question from many aspirants. I have been continuously failing prelims, like I failed 2, 3, 4 times, and now I have become very fearful about it. I don't know what I should do now. Please help me. So, if you're failing prelims continuously and multiple times, then maybe you're doing any of the following mistakes. Please listen to me carefully. One is maybe your command over static subject is very poor and you have been excessively focusing on the current affairs. For example, you're reading the newspapers, 2 to 3 current affairs sources, but your static is very poor. You're not able to revise, nor are your notes complete. Then there are high chances that you may not succeed at prelims. Okay. Then the second is poor current affairs. You've only done your static and you've not read the newspapers, nor have you read any of the current affairs sources. Then there is a high chance that you may not succeed at it. Okay. Then failing to revise. So one more aspect is revision. See, sometimes what we do is we read everything. And what do I mean by we read everything? We just don't read it from our source. Okay. We feel that, okay, maybe my notes are very limited. I should also look for other resources and keep reading from multiple resources. In this case, what happens is we are failing to consolidate what we have already read and chasing, innumerable number of resources. So in that case also, what happens is like when we go and attempt the prelims paper, we feel that the topic is very familiar, but we are not able to recollect answers because we have read so many resources that we haven't gotten time to consolidate it. So revision is a very important aspect. And sometimes what students often do is like they do everything like static, current affairs, revision, CSAT, everything, but they fail to practice sufficient number of mock tests. And then if you don't practice sufficient number of mock tests, what happens is, see, for example, then you'll probably go with this predetermined notion that I'll solve 84 questions, I'll solve 90 questions, or maybe I'll solve 80 questions. But this has to be judged based on the toughness of the paper, and that you'll realize only when you do mock tests. For example, see, we have often heard that Vision IAS Abhyas mock tests are comparatively difficult, and if you take any other mock test like beat any, so it was comparatively easy. So be it easy or be it difficult, during practice you should not judge the mock paper. Instead, you should try and strategize. Okay, Abhyas papers are difficult, so I'll find that optimum number in a difficult paper which will get me a score that is sufficient enough to qualify. Okay, now let's say the paper is comparatively easier. Find that optimum number of questions. What do I mean by optimum number of questions? Like, see, you should get your positive score maximum and negative should be very minimum. So find that optimum balance. Okay, so don't judge the papers and don't look at mock tests only in quantitative terms. Okay, use mock tests properly, like qualitatively, use it to strategize. Okay, so failing to practice sufficient number of mock tests would also, hamper your prospects of clearing prelims. Okay, so now what you need to focus on, basically, see, you should be having a strong command over static subjects, like all the static subjects like polity, economy, modern history, ancient and medieval, art and culture. See, sometimes we often hear people saying that from art and culture there are not many questions coming. Even from ancient and medieval, this time there were a lot of questions, but sometimes we tend to ignore those subjects. But it is very important to realize that prelims is becoming very competitive now, and you need to have strong command over each and every static subject. Okay, and then you should have comparatively good hold over current affairs. See, you should have basic awareness of what is going on. Like, for example, which country joined BRICS in 2025? All these questions are very basic. But if you look at questions like Gandhi Peace Prize in 2025 was given to whom? See, these are very factual questions, which is not of that importance when you look at previous UPSC papers. So it's a very bouncer type of question. Either you know it or you don't know it, but we don't actively study on such facts. Okay, so you have to try and understand what kind of current affairs need to be focused on. For example, we see that in the paper, they have been asking questions related to, defense, military, and all of that. See, we usually don't study it for UPSC prelims basically, right? So you can completely leave those questions, but whatever is happening, a broader understanding of current affairs and little bit factual information of that is very, very essential. Okay, so you need to identify how much of current affairs is important. And if you look at the PYQs also, you'll get to know they usually tend to ask UNESCO sites, World Heritage sites, intangible list of UNESCO, and then questions on exercises and news, and maybe national parks. They tend to ask such questions. So you have to focus on such areas, right? And then multiple repeated revisions are very, very important. This has helped me immensely. Sometimes what happens is when sit in the examination hall, you get confused between two options. Like, it's a very, very easy question, but you get confused. Okay, I don't know if it's A or if it's B. And that happens because we have not revised it multiple times. Okay, so what happens when you revise is those things get consolidated in your mind. Okay, and makes it easier for you to attempt questions. So that is why revision is very, very important. And talking about mock tests, see, whenever you give mock tests at home, please revise before attending each and every mock test. See, what happens when you revise and attempt a mock test is, see, revision consolidates your learning aspects. Okay, maybe theoretical learning aspects. Okay, and when you go and attempt a mock test after learning, it helps you check like whatever you've learned, are you able to apply it or not. So if you skip learning and just go on the application part, that is mock test, it won't help you assess your preparation. It won't help you assess like, have you is your learning in the right direction or not. So that is why you have to take both of these things together. It should go hand in hand. Okay, and quality of mock tests matter. So it doesn't matter you're solving 50-60 tests, or it doesn't matter if you're solving 15 to 20 tests, or maybe 5 tests also. Like, as we reach our fourth attempt, fifth attempt, we reduce the number of mock tests for prelims, like most of the aspirants, because if they have been clearing prelims earlier, so because they get a knack of solving mock tests. So it's the quality, it's your deduction, like what you deduce out of a mock paper, like maybe you finding the optimum number, or maybe finding in what questions you're making mistakes, or maybe assessing how you're able to solve elimination questions. Are you getting them right, or you're making mistakes at such questions? So all this qualitative aspects of mock tests are very, very important. That's what I told you earlier. Strategizing in the mock tests matter. Identifying mistakes. Am I getting static questions wrong? See, if you're getting static questions wrong, a serious aspirant who has done all of these things and revised multiple times will definitely get it right. So you are already 2 marks plus 0.66 marks behind, right? So you have to understand that you cannot get static questions wrong no matter what. And you can assess your elimination techniques as well. Okay, and then you'll have to find a soft spot between static and current affairs. So it's not just static nor just current affairs. You'll have to balance both. Definitely your static needs to be very, very strong. However, current affairs aspect should be able to complement it. Okay, then what you should not do basically is changing resources just because somebody told you. So many times I interact with aspirants and they tell me like, I have been reading this resource, should I now also read this resource? And then they tell me that I have this fear because a selected candidate or a candidate who has gone to the interview told me that you should try and read this resource. See, always remember, it's not in the resource, because be it any resource, we are at such age that we have the capacity to comprehend. It's about our application that we have been lacking at. So we have to first understand this. See, sometimes people don't even read these conventional resources. They read some different resources but still manage to clear the exam. It's because they have worked on their application. They understand that more than reading, it's the practice, it's the application that matters the most. Okay, so just stick to whatever resources you've been referring to, okay, and just focus on reading and revising them multiple times. Don't change your resources. Okay, then next is multiple CA sources. See, you have to read only one newspaper plus any CA material. No need to read multiple sources. Often students also tell me this, I'm not reading the newspaper, but I'm reading 2 to 3 current affairs sources. See, don't overemphasize on current affairs. Current affairs has to be looked at just from the perspective of having an awareness of whatever is happening, and just, let's say now currently H1B visa is in news. Okay, GST reforms are in news. So a little bit information about this is needed. Okay, that's the maximum. You have to understand like what is important from the perspective of UPSC and a little bit of background research. That's it. And yeah, don't attempt mock tests without revision. I already told you. And do not discuss your mock test scores with others and start comparing yourself or feeling dejected. Don't do this. This often happens and had happened to me also. See, instead of this, utilize that time on analyzing and working on your shortcomings. So initially I used to do this, like whenever I used to score low, I used to start questioning myself. Okay, I've done all the revision, and why am I not able to score good in the mock tests? And I used to discuss this with my friends and feel very bad, because sometimes people would score more than me and that would affect. Okay, to be very honest, it would affect me initially. But later what I started doing is I changed my attitude towards looking at it. So I was like, okay, I have read everything, so it's not about that I don't know things. Maybe I must have made mistakes in attempting the paper, like something must have gone wrong there. So then I used to assess myself, my performance in the paper, and understand, okay, so it's not the knowledge aspect that I'm lacking at. I have to, if I have to be able to judge the paper on its difficulty level and then attempt the number of questions in that manner. I should not, set a number like I'll attempt 84 questions only. So then I started doing all these small things. Okay, like, see, sometimes people say, no, that you have to attempt more than 95 questions and everything. See, in the 2023 paper, that was my second prelims, I attempted 84 questions, okay, in the prelims, and I was getting around 96, 97. Then I got to know that my score is falling in this range because my positives are good, but I've made a lot of negatives. I assessed this based on the score. Then what I did was, in the next prelims, so I did not fix my mind on anything. I had this estimation, okay, 80 or something like that, because last time I had attempted 84. But when I went to the paper, I was able to solve only 76 questions. Okay, then I went through the question paper again to mark a few questions, but I was not able to mark any question because I was not understanding what should I mark now. Because if I mark more, somewhere I was feeling that it might, backfire, because I might get negatives more. Then I attempted 76 questions, and that year also in the prelims I scored 97 marks. Then I understood, okay, my negatives have come down and positives have, played to my advantage. So that is how I started realizing that it's not the number of questions. And this time I marked around 86 questions and I was scoring around 100 in this range, like 95 to 105, in this range basically. Okay, so when I checked from the unofficial answer keys, like answer keys released by various institute. So that is how you have to assess your prelims, mock tests. Now you'll have to remember a few more pointers. It is like prelims is not just the game of knowledge. See, knowledge is one aspect to it, one and the primary aspect to it. But apart from this, it's the confidence that you carry, and it's also the strategy that matters. Okay, how will you get that confidence? When you read your basic sources, both static and current affairs, and then revise them multiple times, and then attempt mock tests, and then find that strategy that that strategy that sets a sweet spot between current affairs and static, and you're able to understand your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so you'll have to work on this. Okay, and then limiting resources, ensure multiple revisions and better recall. See, if you limit your resources, what happens is your recall capacity will increase, because you'll have only a few things to remember and you have done it over and over again. So please realize this. And see, basic resources that we purchase at the start of our preparation are sufficient. See, no need to do bare act. Like sometimes aspirants tell me that I've heard M Lakshmikant book is not sufficient, so I bought the bare act. See, it's not important that you have to do bare act, but whatever you have chosen, you have to understand how to read it. And how will you get that idea? Look at the PYQs, look at the mock test questions as well. That will give a direction to you. PYQs are the primary source, but let's say when you're close to the prelims and now you've done all your basic resources, reading, note making and all, so how would you streamline your preparation? Solve more mock tests, try and understand where, what type of questions you're getting wrong, where you need to work upon, and then again come back to your notes and streamline your preparation that way. Right, and no need to go through PIB, India yearbook. I have never read them. Okay, PIB, see, I have not gone each and every day to read. If there was something, like, I would just go and see in my initial attempts. Then I realized that you don't have to spend so much time on all these extra resources. Resources should be very, very, very minimum. And once when you've read the standard books and if you have notes of your own, then you don't have to go back to the standard book. Just keep reading your notes. See, I have notes from Spectrum book. I have it in 25 pages. So now I don't even go back and read the Spectrum book. I just read my notes which are of 25 pages. Okay, and no need to read Yojana, Kurukshetra, etc., etc. Okay, and remember, focus more on practice. Reading, revision, practice. So reading, revision we all do, but practice is also equally important. And what do I mean by practice? I told you the qualitative aspects. See, sometimes people are also giving like 76, 80 mock tests. So you have to understand that, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. And do not overhype about current affairs. Do not fall into this FOMO trap. Okay, and please do not ignore CSAT at any cost. It costed me one attempt. I did not clear my second attempt just because of CSAT. Okay, I was scoring 64 point something, so I fell short by 1.82 marks. So please do not ignore CSAT at any cost. Okay, I hope this video helps. Thank you so much.